Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm beginning our class, insyaAllah. InsyaAllah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi fi kulli lahazatin abada ala ni'amillahi wa udalihi. Allahumma atina min ladunka rahmah wa alimna min ladunka ilma. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nawaya ta'alluma wa ta'lim wa tadhakkura wa tazkir wa nafa' wa intifa' والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إن نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم ألهمنا علما نفقه به أوامرك ونواهيك وارزقنا فهما نعرف به كيف نناجيك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين وإلهام الملائكة المقربين في عافية يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أغننا بالعلم وزينا بالحلم وأكرمنا بالتقوى وجملنا بالعافية يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم إنا نستودعك ما قرأناه وما نقرأه في هذا المجلس ما قبل وما بعده فاحفظه علينا حتى ترده إلينا وقت احتياجنا إليه يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أكرمنا بنور الفهم وأخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وافتح لنا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا حكمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم يا من مقاليد الأمور كلها بيده وإليه يرجع الأمر كله يا فتاح يا عليم يا فتاح يا عليم يا فتاح يا عليم افتح علينا فتحا قريبا. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وسدد لساني واهدي قلبي وعن كذلك بأحبابي أبدا وارزقنا كمال فتوح العارفين والفقه في الدين مع كمال الإخلاص والصدق واليقين والعافية والغنى والنصر والحفظ والنفع والانتفاع وخير الدارين وعلوم الأولين والآخرين. آمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين 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 يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. We are continuing with our class and we are in Aqidatul Mujmala, inshallah. And we are continuing the last lesson. We went into oh, okay. If it's forgiving away, is it? Yeah. Oh wow, mashallah. You're giving away, is it? Okay. MashaAllah. So, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Now, right. So last lesson we were at فَإِنَّ وَالْحَمْدُلillah. We finished that, right? Radina billahi rabba. We finished that as well. Right? I'm confusing two classes because I'm doing also an Nabawi. So I'm confusing which class I'm doing what. Because now yeah, so I think we have done Islamic Dinan. Yeah, I think we're done with we're at 29 to 30. We're on page 30. So I spoke about the Sharia last week, right? Inshallah, because it's about the same space. Mashallah. So now we are at our favorite part, mashallah, of the thing, of the entire creed. وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. MashaAllah. Actually, we're on the third statement, right? And this is basically the first three is what comes from a hadith. Then you have two more or three more, right? That becomes the completion of the 6 questions in the brief. So what I mean is that when you see this entire statement of the of the Mushmala, so you say فَإِنَّ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ قَدْ رَضِينَا بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا, that's number one. وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا, number two. وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا, number 3. وبالقرآن إماما, number 4. وبالكعبة قبلة, number 5. وبالمؤمنين إخوانا, number 6. So there are 6 things that we have redha on. So the statement begins with 6 things that we have redha, that we are content with. The first 3 come in a hadith. The first 3 come in a hadith. We're going to go to the hadith, inshallah. After taking the third one, we'll come with some of the hadiths that speak about those who say رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا, what is for them in the hereafter, right? But there are 6 that are mentioned here because these 6, they come in the questions in the grave, right? Whereby when you go into the grave, right, the first angels that will come to you is Munkar and Nakir, or Bashir and Mubashir, right? So Munkar and Nakir is to come to those who are disbelievers and sinful sinners. Right, and then you have Bashir and Mubashir, right, who come to believers and obedient people. Right, so Munkar and Nakir, they will come to a person in the grave and they will say, Man Rabbuk, right, and they will shout at the person. They say, Man Rabbuk, right, and if the person is a disbeliever or a sinner, they have not lived their life obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, not giving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala authority over him. Right, this person in a state of terror and horror, he will point to the angels and he will say, Antuma, Antuma, right, you 2 of you, you are my Lord, you are my Lord. And the angel will strike this person, and he will go deep down into the earth. Right, the next question will be, Ma dinuk, right, what is your religion? And so therefore, the 6 questions will be asked, right, in the grave. And those who don't live these questions in your life, you cannot answer these questions in the grave. Right, so it's not answers to be memorized, but it's answers to be lived. Right, so if you live these answers, you can give all the answers. Right, Ma dinuk, man nabiyuk. Right, in the narration it says that they will show you a picture of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, Ma taqul fi hadha. Like, what do you say about this one? And show you a picture of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the one who has not been following his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will not know who he is sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they say that every believer, before every believer passes away, they will see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the point of death. At least at the point of death, every believer. Like, he will come to everyone from his ummah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's not so busy for us, mashallah. Every person in his ummah is important to him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so they say that he will come to every believer, every person who dies on La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. He will come to this person and he will escort us, right, as we transit from this world to the hereafter. Right, this is a very scary thought, just to die, to leave, for your soul to leave the body. It's a scary thought. Right, so it's comforting that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be there, right, and he will ease it for you, right, that this coming out of this dunya and going to the akhirah. MashaAllah. So at least the very thought that he's going to be there, he's going to hold your hand, he's going to make it okay, it's going to be okay, inshallah, don't be scared, coming out of this dunya, going to the hereafter. But for the one who has taken him as their Nabi and their Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so inshallah, I will go into all of these questions, inshallah, right, and how a person is to live their life, so that inshallah when you go into the grave, you can answer these questions well and properly, especially the last question where the angel says, Man ikhwanuk, and who are your brothers, who are your brethren in this life. And if you had not fulfilled the rights of brotherhood, and in this book, in the Sharah, it has the rights of brotherhood. If you have not fulfilled it, the Habib Muhammad al-Haddar, he said that if you had slandered, right, or Habib Mashur, in fact, Habib Ali Mashur says the same thing. If you had slandered your brother in Islam or your sister in Islam, you cannot answer al-Muslimun ikhwani. You can't answer that, right? Because you have wronged, you have hurt, you have cheated, you have slandered, right? You have backbite, right? All of the Muslims. How can you answer al-Muslimuna ikhwani? Yes, that's the last question. And number six, question number six is, Radina bil Islam Dina, billahi Rabba, wa bil Islam Dina, bi Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nabiyya wa Rasulah, wa bil Qur'ani imama, wa bil Ka'bati qibla, wa bil mu'minina ikhwana. Right, the Muslims are my brethren. But I will get there inshallah, and inshallah to prepare ourselves, our intentions in learning this book, that you can answer the angels in the grave. And these angels, they will come. You know, and for the believer, they are called Bashir and Mubashir, not Munkar and Nakir. Their names become Bashir and Mubashir. We're going to give you the Bushra, they give you the good news. And Bashir Mubashir means the one that gives the good news. And Bashir wa Mubashir. So when you say Allahu Rabbi, Islamu Dini, when you answer the angels in that way, and Muhammad Nabi, Al-Qur'anu Imami, Al-Ka'batu Qiblati, Wal-Mu'minun Ikhwani, when you answer full answer, full marks, mashallah, right, they will give you the good news of rest in your grave. For you is paradise. And you have gotten all six down, mashallah. Right, but it's a lifelong, effort to act this out. Not to act, but to live this out, mashallah. Live this out in your life, subhanallah. And we're coming into the month of Ramadan, so we're coming into Qur'anu Imami, right, inshallah, after this. So here, وَبِسَيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمْ نَبِيًّا وَرَسُولًا. So just a recap, Allahu Rabbi, right, to live it, right, is to first and foremost admit that He is the one true God for you to worship and obey, and nothing should be placed above the authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So He is the one who has full authority over you. You do not feel any displeasure with His decree. Whatever He has decreed for you, you have only full redha of it. Subhanallah. I think it was yesterday morning I was teaching Nawawiyah online, 40 Hadith Imam Nawawiyah online early in the morning. If you're wondering, can I come for the class at 3 a.m? The class at 3 a.m. in the morning. Because for some reason, the internet here in Tarim at 4 a.m. every single day, it cuts off. And that's like a reboot, I think. I don't know. But it will cut off from 4 to 4:20. Then it comes back on every single day without fail. So I used to want to put my class at 4 o'clock in the morning before Fajr. But I could not, because it's an exact time they refresh the internet. So I was forced to put my class at 3 a.m. in the morning, because it's just nice 8 a.m. in Singapore. 5+5. Right? So anyway, I was doing this class, Arba'in Nawawiyah, I think yesterday morning. And we are on the hadith whereby a man comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the man says, Ya Rasulullah, teach me an action that if I do it, Allah will love me, and if and the people will love me. And teach me an action that if I do it, Allah will love me and the people will love me. And much of the commentary we're taking from Al-Wafi. Al-Wafi is a very famous commentary on the 40 Hadith of Imam Nawawiyah, right, that is used in the Muslim world worldwide. Right, so I learned it when I was in Syria, when I was in Sham. I learned this book, Al-Wafi, right? But across the Muslim Ummah, they learn this sharah. It's a very beautiful sharah, mashallah, and translated into English, alhamdulillah. It has been translated into English. Right, so anyway, in the sharah, first and foremost, they mentioned how the Sahaba could ask Rasulullah any question without feeling shy about it. Mashallah. Any question. I mean, mashallah, going up to Rasulullah and saying, how do I make everyone love me? Like in a sense, like you will feel like, I'm asking the kind of question. Like is your esteem so low? In a sense, mashallah, you could think that, like, how do I make everybody love me? Mashallah. It's an interesting question to ask. Because how to make Allah subhanahu love me? That's a good question, mashallah. You want for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to love you. That's a good question. And then He will give you of His gifts, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He will never punish you. Alhamdulillah. Right? But there's a second question, and the people will love me. Right? But He's showing a very innate human nature. Human beings want to be loved. And this is why the entire popularity thing is about, Facebook likes about, people just like being liked. Right? No one likes being disliked. Mashallah. So it makes you feel good that people like you, mashallah, people love you. So he asked a question that was very human. It's very human, but it's a very vulnerable question. Because you expose yourself like that. You know, like I want to love me. What do I do? You know, mashallah. But alhamdulillah, he asked the question, and our Prophet ﷺ gave the answer. Right? And he said that is had fi dunya yuhibbukallah. Right? Yuhibbukallah. Right? Have zuhud in this dunya. Detach yourself from this dunya. Right? And Allah will love you. Izhad bima fi aydin nas yuhibbukan nas. Bi aydin nas yuhibbukan nas. I have zuhud in what is in the hands of people, and the people will love you. You know, mashallah. But this hadith, right? I mean, I'm pointing out this hadith because of the statement "Raditu billahi rabba wa bil Islami dina wa sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam nabiyyan wa rasula." Right? Because in the commentary of this hadith, is a very beautiful commentary. He said the thing about zuhud, which is abstinence, and zuhud, abstinence, to stay away from, to detach from, to deny yourself, to break yourself away from, right? So this all under zuhud, right? Abstinence. You can say to detach, right? So the commentary is so beautiful. He said that zuhud is basically redha, right? Zuhud is redha. It is, so it's from radina billahi rabba, right? Or bil Islami dina bi sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam nabiyyan wa rasula. Zuhud is redha. Redha bima kan. Right? Redha bima kan wa bima yakun. This is in the sharah. What does that mean? And he explains that whatever has happened to you in your life, of things you have lost, because we're talking about zuhud, right? So of things you have lost, then he gives specifications, not just money, but people, whether in death or whether in broken relationships, right? So whatever you have lost in this life, you have redha with it, and you don't wish otherwise, right? That is, oh ya Allah, think about that statement, right? Whatever that has happened to you in your life, whatever loss has come to you in your life, whatever calamity has come to your life, you have full redha with Allah's decree, and you don't wish otherwise. You know, like we can have redha. You know, I have redha with the decree. I have redha with the decree, but sometimes you wish otherwise, right? You wish something else had happened, or you wish it didn't happen. You wish you didn't lose this precious thing or person that meant a lot to you. You wish, right? You wish things, right? And that is a form of adam fi redha. That is a form of not having a full redha. It's interesting, mashallah. When I was looking at it, I was like, this has hit me so hard in my face. You know, mashallah. It's a big hit. Right, that you're like, you know, to have full redha. And this is the symbol of the Sufi, whereby they say that the Sufi or the mu'min, the believer, he is pleased whether he's in the sun or in the shade, whether he's standing or sitting, whether he's lying down or whether he is standing up. He is pleased wherever Allah puts him. Redha. Oh, you have a question? No.
Time when you think like something happens, you're like, was it Allah?
MashaAllah. So good question. So the question is that, you know, we know about the qada and the qadar, right? The decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's coming in this passage of Aqidah Mujmala, right? It's coming. But about the decree, when people say, you know, when bad things happen, right? And of course it's a decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bad things happen. It's part of this dunya. And you can't go to this dunya without bad things happening. In fact, one of the Sahaba, I can't remember who, I think is Sayyidina Uthman, if I'm not wrong, or Sayyidina Abu Bakr, on their ring, right? On their ring, it has a statement, "Wahada sayamdi," right? Which means that on his ring, and this too shall pass. It's a statement that you put on everything good and bad. So when you're in the height of your happiness, this too shall pass. When you're in the lowest of the low, this too shall pass. It's a very much, I think one of the Sahaba, his ring was that. Wahada aidan sayamdi. It will pass. It will pass. Right? So which makes you not attached to anything in this world. Because this too shall pass. You know, mashallah. But to answer a question that when bad things happen, is it, you know, a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the hadith that if Allah loves an individual, He will test him. There is a hadith, If Allah loves an individual, He will test him. and that the prophets who are the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the most tested of individuals in this dunya. And the most tested human being in this dunya is our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If we got just a fraction or a drop of his tests, we would not be able to get up the next day. And it will be on our beds. We cannot get up, mashallah. If you got even a slightest bit of the test of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's on one hand. Then we know also that Allah sends bala, right, to those who are disobedient and disbelieving. Right, in the stories of the prophets of the past, Allah sends bala and He destroys them. He sends an earthquake. He sends, and He sends diseases. Like Abu Lahab, the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got afflicted by a terrible disease that made him, rot while he was still alive. It was Abu Lahab. So you don't say, oh, the disease is to raise Abu Lahab's maqam. No, it's ihana. Right? It is to disgrace Abu Lahab. With the hina, is to disgrace Abu Lahab, ihana. Right? So so you won't say that him having that illness is to raise Abu Lahab's maqam or to have Abu Lahab, sins forgiven. Of course not. Right? He is in the worst of the worst. But when Rasulullah got his illness, right? The illness of Rasulullah before he passed away, they're both illnesses. Right? His illness, of course, is to raise his maqam beyond whatever we can even understand. But the scholars say even more, it was as a mercy to the ummah. Because if Allah had taken the Prophet ﷺ faj'atan, like that, like a sudden death, if he was taken suddenly like that, the ummah or the sahaba, they cannot take it. They can't take a sudden death of the Prophet ﷺ because of their such deep love for him. So Allah gave like a prelude, that something's happening, it's happening. They're seeing him getting weaker and weaker. Right? So that's people are having the thoughts come to their hearts that maybe, but they're hoping not. And this happens to every human being. You see someone you love so much, and they're on a deathbed, but you have this part in your heart that says maybe they will get cured. Maybe they will not die from this. Maybe, but even though every sign points to them dying from it. Right? So anyway, you see two situations. One person fell terribly sick and died in that way, and the other person fell terribly sick also and died in that way. For one, it is a karam and mahabba. It is an ennobling and a love from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah raise their level so high. And the other one is an ihana, disgrace, right? And it is an adhab fit dunya qabla al-akhirah. An azab, a punishment in this dunya before the akhirah. What's the difference? The difference is the reaction of the person. That's the difference. That's how you know if a musibah or a calamity is a punishment on you or a test to raise you. Basically, you choose. The same calamity, the same musibah happens to individuals. Same thing happens to the individuals. Some individuals take it and they wake up for tahajjud. They pray the night long. Right? They cry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They go and give out in charity sadaqah. Right? They go and they do whatever it takes to remove the calamity in the way of a'mal salihah, of good deeds. Some people, the same calamity, they grumble and they curse and they hate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they hate the decree and they go into a terrible state and say, why me? Why not anybody else? What did I do to deserve this? Oh, what? They will say and say and say and say and say. It is ihana. It is ihana. It is a disgracement. So basically, you choose. When calamity happens to you, you choose. Is this a gift, a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is this a curse? A punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you choose. Your iman is going to show when calamity strikes. Mashallah. So no one can say for sure it is, a punishment, it is a raising. Right? So sometimes some of our teachers will mention, that when like the earthquake that happened in Turkey, in Syria and so on, right? You can't, you don't know, as Allah in the Quran says, that Allah wants to take His shuhada. You don't know if that's for the reason of that. Allah wants to take His shuhada. He wants to take His martyrs. He wants it. Like in the Quran it says that Allah has caused for this calamity. It was what Battle of Uhud. Right? This was the verse was revealed on the Battle of Uhud. Right? Whereby Allah has caused for this to happen. Yes. They went down the hill and then Khalid bin Walid came from the behind and they killed the Muslims off in large numbers. Right? But Allah wants to raise the Ansar. Because majority of them who died in Uhud were Ansar, were people of Medina. Allah wants to raise them and give them shuhada. Maybe all of them have been asking and begging for to die as a martyr. So Allah caused for it to happen. It's a calamity, yes. But for them, karam. It is an ennoblement, mashallah. So redha, we have redha. Radina billahi rabba wa bi Islamic Creed. So the statement of redha, what is redha is that, redha is basically zuhud. In a sense that you have no attachment to anything of this dunya. Not a thing physically, not a person, not an idea, not a dream. It's difficult, right? Because when you think of attachment to dunya, you think of, okay, I'm not attached to my house, not attached to my car, Okay, these are easy, it's easy stuff. For some people, it is still hard to not be attached to the house and car. It's okay, attached to people. Okay, are you attached to your children? Oh, Nabi Ibrahim's story, right? It comes out. Right? Are you attached to them? Oh, we are attached, right? If Allah takes them from us, like what's the response? Will it be full redha? Right? Full redha when Allah takes them from us. Full redha. Right? Or will you go into an anger against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Right? So the believer, right, it needs to be prepared that whatever you have in this dunya is not yours. And if Allah wants to take it back, He takes it back. It's so hard to think about.
Is it okay to want something to change? For example, if you're sick, can you make
You can make dua, yes. Right, but you have to have redha on whatever position Allah gives you. So for example, you want something really much, very much. Right? So and my statement is on what has happened. It's on what has happened, not what is going to happen. It's what has happened, right? So they have full redha. This has happened, right? So if someone were to, break off a friendship from you, right, that you love very much, and they choose to walk away, for example, you have full redha. Allah gave me that relationship for a while as a gift, a rizq. It's my rizq for that period of time. Then the time ended, and it ended, right? Redha. Okay? Because why? Your entire life revolves around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Raditu billahi rabba. Right? Allah is enough for me. Right? Mashallah. So here, mashallah, you find people here, the sahababas, habaib, they lose children. Like they lose children. Not just one, several. And Habba Zahra, Habib Umar's mother, she lost, I think she told us the time was 3. Right, 3 of her children she buried. Mashallah, they did. Like one you can't even think about. Like 3. Right, this is Habib Umar's mother. Right, and Habib Umar's father, she told us that Habib Muhammad had more. He had other wives, Allah alam. Right, but more children that he buried also. SubhanAllah. You can't even imagine one. But they are full redha. Like the story of Sulaim, the mother of Sayyidina Anas. Right, whereby Sayyidina Anas's younger brother, right, passed away, and his name was Abu Umair. Ya Abu Umair, ما فعل ابن غير. There's a hadith, Ya Abu Umair. Right, so Abu Umair is a hadith of Rasulullah whereby Sayyidina Anas bin Malik, right, has a small brother. His brother is Abu Umair, like a laqab, Abu Umair. Right, so he had a small bird that was with him, and he brings it everywhere. So small child, about age of 4 years old, and he's a small boy. So he has a small bird. So whenever he comes to Rasulullah alayhi wasallam, Rasulullah says, Ya Abu Umair, ma fa'ala Nughayr. Nughayr is a bird, and he would just, bring happiness to the heart of the boy that you give attention to his bird. Mashallah. And thus you don't give the kids. It's important to them. It's important to them. Mashallah, he makes it important to him what's important to them. So his small bird, bird, whatever, no, it's important because it's important to the child. The bird is important. Right? So one day the bird dies. and then no, Abu Umair was crying. And some said to him, "Ya Abu Umair, ma fa'ala Nughair? What happened to your bird? My bird died." Miskin. And he hugged and he comforted Abu Umair. How many of us will have the kind of, time? Your bird died, your fish died. Your fish died. Your what died? Comfort them. Your cat died, kitten died. Comfort them. It matters to them. It matters to them. Then, but time passed, and Abu Umar himself fell sick. It's a small child, he fell sick, right? And one night he passed away. So his mother, Sulaim, it's a famous story, mashallah, Sulaim. Right, the father came home, Abu Talha. Abu Talha is not Sayyidina Anas's father, right, but stepfather, right? So, but the father of Abu Umar. So Abu Talha comes home and says to his wife, Sulaim, so you're a mother. Your child just passed away. You saw him breathe his last. He just passed away in the night. Right, 4-year-old. Okay, husband comes home. She has full redha of Allah's decree. Full redha. The husband says to her, "How is our son?" And then she said, "He is still." Like in Arabic, it means he's rested. But what she meant was he's still. It's not moving. It's still. So the husband understood as he's resting. It's in a way, it's where I left him. It's where I left him. So she prepared a big feast, gave him his dinner. Then she beautified herself, right? And he slept with her that night. Right. So after he had slept with her, so I sometimes you want this kind of stories, mashallah. I can't imagine myself doing that. Like your child just died, and then she's thinking of making another child. Subhanallah, like subhanallah, the strength of redha. He's died, he's dead, khalas. What are you going to do about it? He's dead. You can't bring him back to life. He's dead. So what do you do? Make another child? Ya Allah. You think about it. You can't even put yourself in her shoes. She kept it from her husband. Then after they slept together, he turns to him and he says to him, "Oh, my husband, if someone were to borrow something from someone else, right, is it right for the owner to ask for it back?" Oh, so it's so hard that you're the mother saying this. You could say to somebody else who lost a child, when you yourself lost the child, to say it out, it's so hard to say. But she said that if someone borrowed something from someone else, is it wrong? Is it right for the owner to ask for it back? And Abu Talha said, "Of course, right? And the one who borrowed it must give it back, right?" And then she said, "So be patient about your son." And she gave him advice. So he understood. He understood what she meant, and it means he has passed away. He got so angry with her, right? So pissed off with her that you kept this secret from me, right, until we slept together and everything, and then you tell me. Subhanallah, he got so angry with her. He got up, he went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he complained to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about what his wife did. But I'm really just admiring her. What kind of woman is this? Mashallah, right? To be able to do that. For me, I think if a child passed away, I would just be sitting down and be completely non-functioning. I think that I wouldn't be doing anything at all, at all. Much less, cook a dinner and probably just sit there and just stare in the space and just alhamdulillah, and just try to get your mind to wrap around what has happened. Mashallah. And then Rasul said to him, did you sleep with her last night? And he said, yes. And he said, may Allah bless your night. Mashallah. And she bore, and it was said that she bore of children, right? Thereafter, that they were all of the hufad of the Quran. Memorize the Quran. Oh, but the sabr is so strong in the redha, so strong that from there they got more progeny, mashallah. Now, but so it's really a part of redha to understand you cannot change it. So stop getting upset about it. Mashallah. The one who faces Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with redha, with his decree, Allah will face him with redha. And the one who faces Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sakhat, with anger, with a decree, Allah will face him with anger. And subhanAllah. So anyway, we're going into the going back to Radina Billahi Rabban, mashallah. Because it's not we said Radina Billahi Rabban. It's so much to be said. But now we're actually at Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nabiyya wa Rasulah. So the first meaning of Sayyid, right? Sayyid. There are several meanings for the word Sayyid. Right? So the first meaning of Sayyid is leader of a people. Imam al-Qawm. Right? A leader of a people is the first meaning. Second meaning, right? Kathirul atba'. Right? So a lot of followers. That's number 2. So I put it all in one line, but they're actually different meanings. So the first meaning is a leader of a people. Second meaning is one with many followers. Because it's possible that somebody is not a leader but has many followers. It's possible. Right? In our zaman, it's taking a different meaning altogether. We have followers on Facebook, followers on Instagram, followers. It's quite scary. It's very scary. Right? Because, if you understand the word follower, they're all your followers. So if you make a practice that is haram and they copy you follow, you go under the hadith whereby man sanna fil Islam sunnatan sayyi'ah, right? It means something that is, whoever begins to do something that is wrong and people follow her, right? Then for her wizruha, she gets the sin and the sin of every person who follows her without their sins decreasing in any way. So people who actually understand this, you don't want to be influencers. Right? Now it's a thing in our society, influencer. Right? It's a job. It's actually a job in society to be an influencer. I asked someone once, like, what do you work as? Oh, I work as an influencer. What's that? Right? They actually get money doing what they do, and they have followers, and they have like in the millions. They earn.
It's everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's everywhere in the world. It's really, and basically people they could do the most ridiculous things, and and have like 1 million followers. And people cash in on it, get money. Right. So anyway, if you understood the word influencer, and how that would have its repercussions on the day of judgment, right? Yawmul Qiyamah. You're an influencer over 1 million people. You're doing rubbish online, and 1 million people are wasting their time watching your rubbish. It's like what kind of wizard, what kind of sin are you going to carry? You are dal, and you are dalin mudillin. You are lost, and you have caused others to go lost, to go astray. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So this is I think about our world. But anyway, a sayyid is someone who's the leader of a people, and is someone who is either a selected leader, or someone who is a leader naturally. And we know the Prophet ﷺ, and also all of his ancestors, his aba, the aba of Rasulullah, the ancestors of Rasulullah, all of them were natural leaders. What does that mean? It means that no one elected them to be a leader, but they had traits that people knew they could rely on these individuals. So they were responsible, they were giving, right? They were charitable, right? They had integrity, they were wise, they had every trait. So people naturally, incline towards them. People naturally follow whatever they see. Right? So like for example, in our times, Habib Omar, right? Did anyone elect him to lead, ID? Literally, he leads ID, mashallah. He leads ID. I was studying, mashallah. I was studying as a Habaib, mashallah, in the Rubat and so on. But Habib Omar, anybody in ID, if you say Habib said so, alas. Habib said so. Right? Did anyone say he's our president, our governor, our what do you call the I don't know what they call it. What do they call it of a town? Something, the mayor of a town. Mashallah. No one elected him. But why? He is someone of sound intellect. He is someone of strong knowledge, high knowledge. He is someone who is wise. He is noble in the way he carries himself. Right? You will not find him committing any of the sagha'ir, of the minor sins, Habib Omar. Right? So it's someone who says someone who is min al-udul. He is someone who is placed and trusted in. So when he says something, the whole town hears it. The whole town hears what he says. And we are in obedience. to what Habib sees. Right? So anything he'll say to you, oh, it's from Habib, and Amr ibn Habib. Okay, tamam. MashaAllah. Straight away, sami'na wa ata'na. And mashallah, and this is something that happened in Tarim, from previously, whereby the rulers, they realize that the ulama have strong power, right? Because the people listen to the ulama, right? So the rulers try their best to work with the ulama or to try and subdue the ulama. But the ulama of Hadramaut, especially, they refuse to be subdued. They refuse to be, silenced, or refuse to be controlled by the rulers. The rulers eventually have to become, murid, students of the ulama, if you want for the people to respect you. You're gonna, respect the ulama. Like, mashallah, this is it's a sign of a very healthy town, whereby people are led by the scholars. Of the town, mashallah. May Allah make the entire world like that. If only, right? If only, the entire world is on a Sharia, mashallah. So anyway, so the leader of a people, so is it elected or natural? It's a Sayyid. So we call Sayyidina al-Habib, Sayyid al-Habib Umar, right? Even his own children will say Sayyid al-Walid, right? Sayyid al-Walid. Right? It is their leader. He's a leader. He's their exemplar. He's their everything. Sayyid al-Walid. My father, my Sayyid. My father, my Sayyid. MashaAllah. And we say Sayyidi Habib Umar. So we don't say, sometimes we say Al-Habib Umar Na'am, but it's sweet to say Sayyidi. Sayyidi Al-Habib Umar. My Sayyid. My leader. Huh? My master, my leader, right? The one I follow, the one I am, obliged to, the one I am obedient to, the one I am an abd to. I'm his abd, his slave and servant, mashallah. With many followers, or one whom people turn to for guidance. This is called a Sayyid, right? Someone people turn to for guidance or help, or one who is well composed in all situations. A Halim, right? Al-Halim means someone who is calm in any musibah, any situation. That's called a Sayyid. MashaAllah. Because people run to them. Right? So it could be that leaders, they themselves panic when bad things happen. And they run and they abandon people. MashaAllah. Which is why it's supposed to be that if a ship is sinking, the last person to leave the ship is the captain. Right? That is by integrity. And you go down with the ship. Make sure everybody's safe first, you're last to go. But this is real Sayyid, whereby they just, hold their ground, mashallah. I said, so someone who is a Halim, well composed in all situations. So all of these are the different meanings of the word Sayyid. They all come together to perfection in our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to perfection. Right, so is he a leader? Yes, the best of them. Sayyidun Nas. He is the Sayyid Bani Adam. Sayyid Bani Adam. He is the leader of all human beings. Sayyidah Fatima Az-Zahra, Sayyidun Nisa'il Alamin. She is the leader of all women, all over the world. Does he have many followers? Yes, Isra and Mi'raj, right? The story of Isra and Mi'raj. He saw the followers of Nabi Musa alayhi salam, and he asked, Ya Allah, right, whose followers are these? And Allah says, the followers of Musa bin Imran. Then he saw much bigger in his jama'ah of people. They call it Sood, right? It's just black because so many people. Then he said that here is your ummah, Ya Ahmed, the ummah of Ahmed, of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has the most followers, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more than anything on social media whatsoever. And in fact, social media is not an indication, because when you go on social media and you see, when you look at Habib's speech, right, so much treasure in Habib's speech. You see the number of followers, right? But when you go into some random ridiculous person who's doing they do things so ridiculous. Then my husband was saying to me, they will do things like they will watch a water drop for a good 3 hours. It's you're like, what? And then you see how many viewers? A few in the thousands of viewers viewed that video. Our world is crazy. This is a crazy world that we live in. So they will sit there and they do something so weird. And people actually follow. And they like. And they like a man just doing something really random. Everybody's watching it. So online has no indication of your worth because you could do the most ridiculous thing and you can have 1 million followers. There's somebody who is so full of worth. Our mashayikh, our habaib, so they are kanz, right? They are all treasures, right? And 1,000 followers, few 100,000 followers, mashallah. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and samawati wal ard, all of the angels are following them around, mashallah. In the billions of angels coming following them around, mashallah, right? That we cannot see. That's more worth it, mashallah. So Rasul has the most followers, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in fact, every da'i from his time to our time fall under the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and wa tahta every da'i, and with every da'i are the followers of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to the end of time. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Is he the one that we ought to for guidance? Yes, of course. Of course, we turn to him for guidance and help. Right? In his zaman, there was once I had my family group. There are some people in my family group, but they're in-laws, right, who are not, they have influence from the Wahhabi. Right, they have influence from the Wahhabi. So there's one of them once he posted, and he said, what's with people going to the grave of Rasulullah and asking for help? He sort of things. He's like, let people be, can please let people be. He said, what's with people going to the grave of Rasulullah and crying? Why must they cry at his grave? Sometimes this is Wahhabis, right? Let people cry, okay? Don't stop someone from crying. They want to cry at his grave, let them cry. Khalas, don't get on their case, mashallah. So, mashallah, one of my aunties, she responded in a very beautiful way. She said that, you know what? In his lifetime, even the plants and the animals ran to him crying. Even the plants and the animals in his zaman, they will walk the plant that pull up its roots and walk to Rasulullah in the Burda and walk to Rasulullah with its roots. The camel from afar, people were calling it deranged. The camel saw Rasulullah from afar. He ran to Rasulullah with tears in his eyes and complained to Rasulullah about how his owner has been abusing him. Even if the plants and the animals do this to Rasulullah in his zaman, do you think Allah Al-Karim is not going to allow us to do it? Just because He wrote that we live later on. Allah decreed that we will live later on. Like, are we to be denied of running to our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Of course not. You can run to him whenever you want. Run all you want to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Run all you want. Ask for his help. Ask for his guidance. He's there for that reason. Right, the Sahaba will come to him, Ya Rasulullah, this, Ya Rasulullah, that, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, everything, Ya Rasulullah, mashallah, whatever it is. She responded in that way. So who are you people telling people to stop crying by his grave? Right, because of your hard hearts? Right? You can't cry, that's your problem. We want to cry, we cry. Mashallah. Don't stop us from crying just because you have such a hard heart. You can't cry or shed one tear by Rasulullah. What kind of ummah is that? What kind of follower is that? Do you come and stand in front of his grave and you don't shed a tear? There's no shauq, there's no desire, there's no love, there's no longing. You call yourself an ummah. Call yourself a follower. It should be there for us that whenever we think about him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, the shauq, right, the desire for him, the longing for him should come, and it will push us into weeping, right, for the beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so can we turn to him for guidance in our zaman and he's now in his grave? Yes, yes, you can. Right, if those people who say what they say and they say, oh, he's dead. How can a dead person help you? Then the answer to that is that, well, Nabi Musa alayhi salam calls for our salat to be 50 to 5. Is Nabi Musa not dead? He is dead. Nabi Musa has passed away. And are we benefiting from Nabi Musa's intercession to Rasulullah to make him ask Allah to reduce 50 to 5? Yeah. Every Muslim now in this world is benefiting from Nabi Musa's. He basically interceded. I won't say intruded. Mashallah, he interceded. Right? He went into something that was his concern and worry for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he had a love for the ummah of Rasulullah more than his own ummah. He has a love for both, yes, but he saw what happened to his ummah. They could not handle 2 prayers, morning and evening. The ummah of Musa alayhi salam was morning and evening. They could not handle that. Right, so when he asked, we saw some go up to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows it's a big matter. So he inquired, he asked about it, what happened? Like, oh, 50 salat. And you accepted? Like, ask for less. Your people can't do it. They can't do it. Don't make them fail. Ask for less. And he kept doing it until it was 5. And when Nabi Musa said, 5's too much, they won't do it. I asked for less. But Rasulullah said, I'm too shy. Right, it's 5. I can't bring myself to ask for less. 5. Mashallah. But those who say you can't benefit from the dead, are you not praying 5 times a day? Like, if not, go and pray 50 times a day. Mashallah. We all of us are benefiting from Nabi Musa's, intercession. To ask, and he kept asking. He kept asking and asking and asking and asking. Even at 10 maybe labat, right? 10. You could do 10 prayers a day, because you do sunat subuh, you do subuh, you do zuhur, sunat zuhur, you do asar and sunat asar, right? Maghrib, sunat maghrib, and isha and sunat isha. Then you're doing 10. Yani. So 10 is okay, but he still asks for less, because there are those who will not do it, right? Ask for less. So if anyone was to say someone can't help you, right? Do you even believe in the barzakh? Do they have a belief in barzakh? Do they think that we die and become a lifeless body, a food for worms? Or do you not know that our soul transits into another realm? So those who say that those who are dead can't help you, as if they have no aqidah. Right? The soul has transited, it's gone from one realm to another realm. Khalas? Right? And of course the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I am in my grave and your deeds are being shown to me. When I see good, I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I see other than that, one narration, he didn't say evil, but other than goodness, I ask Allah's forgiveness for you. Right? Isn't that benefiting us? That in his grave, he's watching his ummah, right? And he's making istighfar for us while in his grave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. MashaAllah. So can we turn to him for guidance and help? Yes, and we should all the time. All the time. And of course, every believer, the basis of all of what we understand is that Allah is the doer of everything. Allahu qadir ala kulli shay. He is the doer, He is the powerful. So in no way or form that when we, for example, ask help from another human being, I'm not praying to her. Come on. I'm not worshipping her. I'm saying, pass it to the water over there. I'm not like saying, oh, Almighty. I'm not doing that. So why, when we go to the grave of the Prophet ﷺ and we ask for help, why do they say shirk? No one's saying that I'm saying he's God. Right? But how I ask another human being to help me out with something, I'm not praying to you. And I know Allah gave you the means to help me. Right? So I'm not even, like doing shirk for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is su'uzan on their part. It's a bad, terrible opinion to say those who go to the graves, they are grave worshippers. What's your proof? Are they worshipping the graves? No. But we're going there in 2 ways. Either you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, Ya Allah, by your love for this wali, Ya Allah, by your love for this Nabi, and Nabi even higher than wali, Nabi, by your love for this Nabi, please, grant me or release me or relieve me of my distress, my illness, help me, give me guidance, I'm confused, whatever you put with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other way is you go to a grave and you say, Ya Rasulullah, ask Allah, right? Make dua for me. And when you go to a Habib, he was alive, right? You will say, oh, the Hababa, dua for me, right? Never to a Hababa, your friend. Right? You go to a normal friend, right? Because the dua of the sister or the brother, right? In secret, is accepted. So don't have to be a Hababa or someone, but it's a friend. A dua for me, I'm going through a difficult time, dua for me. And even dua for you. So why when you go to his grave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you can't say that to him? You can. He's hearing you. He knows who comes to him. Say, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Salams go to him. Ya Rasulullah, I'm confused. Ya Rasulullah, I'm lost. Ya Rasulullah, I don't know what to do. Ya Rasulullah, make dua for me. Ask Allah to guide me, put it in my heart. Why can't we do that to him? He's alive in his grave, what? Prophets, as you say in the hadith, prophets are alive in their graves praying.
And it's also
Naam. And fulfilling the needs, mashallah. It's really, so when we say turn to him for guidance and help, we definitely do so, and it is valid. And you can do so. In fact, you should do so. Who else do you want to turn to when you're in distress, right? Who else? Then your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course. Mashallah. The one who is well composed in all situations, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, so when and in fact in the battle it is said that the Sahaba will see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam fighting strongly, unshaken at all in the battle. Some of the Sahaba will hide behind him because he's so strong forward in the battle, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, unshaken. Anything that happens to him in life, unshaken. MashaAllah. This is why he is our Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next lesson I'll go into the name Muhammad, into his lineage, and then that's the statement, inshallah. By doing bit by bit, very slowly through this book. So inshallah, it will take us time to finish the book, inshallah. MashaAllah. Because we never enter into Aqidatul Awam. Awam is later on. There are two texts. We're still in the first text. MashaAllah. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. أن الله يرزقنا علما نافعا وعملا خالصا وإنه لو يسلمك من الإمام الصالح وأرواح المعلمين ومشايخنا وذوي الحق علينا وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa man amila Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin.